Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. So we will continue our lecture with a new topic, topic 3. I believe I have mentioned before this that the overall construction process consists of pre-construction, construction and also post-construction phases. So this topic covers the pre-construction phase, and this phase is also divided into site selection, site investigation. There's also contractor selection, construction plan, and also planning tool. And for today's lesson, we will go through the site selection part. But before that, just to recap our previous lesson, last time we explored the construction project management's core goal, which is to deliver projects punctually within financial constraints and to the desired quality while aligning with the client's needs. We also examine common project management problems such as resource shortage, unclear objectives, and also communication issues. Okay, some of them lah. And then our discussion on contracts highlighted the fundamental components of what makes them a contract, like an offer, acceptance, consideration, and also legality. And that is what makes a contract legal and illegal, right? Okay, now we continue. For this new topic, the COPO is the same as the previous one, CO1 and PO1. And these are the learning outcomes. At the end of this chapter, students should be able to identify factors governing site selection based on economy, cost, or profit, and identify factors governing site selection based on technical factors. Okay, so there are two parts under site selection: feasibility study and factors to be considered under the feasibility study, or FS. The short abbreviation is FS for the feasibility study. All right, so this feasibility study is the crucial step when we are doing site selection. Right, without detailed measurements or tests, okay, it assesses the project's viability from a business and technical standpoint. So simply put, it is a preliminary assessment to determine the suitability of a site against project goals, business logic, and technical parameters. The study also typically involves project managers, engineers, or architects, and it is very important, okay, as it forms as the anchor of our initial project planning stages to set up the stage for successful execution of the project. Okay, now we enter into the factors influencing site selection, which includes the project objective, business considerations, and also technical requirements. So for the first factor, when starting a project, the client must clearly explain what the project should achieve and why it is important, right? Because sometimes what the project needs to do is more important than how much it costs. For example, when building things everyone can use or need to use, like schools or community centers. Okay, this is to ensure that they are able to serve, especially the government, okay, to ensure they are able to serve people well as their top priority. Okay, from the business perspective, this process begins with land valuation. Okay, this is quite a critical step where the owner or client assess a piece of land's current market value to decide if it is worth buying for a proposed project. Alright, and following this is a thorough financial study whereby the client must draft a budget and forecast for the project's cash flow. And this could include the likes of pre-development expenses, infrastructure costs, preliminary outlays, the construction itself, and anticipated sales revenue. So these pre-development expenses might include the likes of real estate consultations, the expenses associated with obtaining permits, or the cost of architectural and engineering design. And then this infrastructure costs, it could refer to expenses related to building roads and installing sewer, water, and electrical systems. And for the preliminary outlays, it covers site survey, soil testing, and preliminary site preparation work such as clearing up the land and also excavation work. Okay, so the rest of the examples, I think you can try to find yourself later, right? Next, we turn to market analysis. So this one, it involves identifying potential buyers and conducting a thorough market analysis to determine if the expected profit margin justifies the project, okay, considering the supply and demand and the broader economic climate. Okay, like if it's for housing area, is there any demand? Uh, is there is a proof if there is potential buyers if we proceed with the project, like that lah, right? And lastly is the risk analysis. This one, it is performed alongside market analysis, okay, to assess the potential liabilities should the project fail. Okay, so this is a step that highlights possible risks and inspires the owner or client to strive towards the project's success. So basically, when you analyze there is a risk for the project to fail, okay, you will try to plan to work out how you can make the project sellable. Okay, maybe provide discount or whatsoever lah. Okay, and the third factor is from a technical point of view. So before building anything, it is common that we start with a preliminary investigation. Okay, this is to check out all the details about the land without actually going there. What we can do, we look at the maps, talk to the local offices, and then we try to learn who owns the land, what it is for, and what services like water and power are available there. Okay, this is to give us an early overview what can we expect about the site. The next step is the on-site visit. Okay, this is to see things for ourselves. We check out where it is, what it looks like, and what is already there. Okay, this is to confirm what we have checked before this. And we also see how close it is to the town, who lives around there, and what kind of work they do in terms of economic activities and so on. Okay, because all this, it may directly impact supporting the project that we are building. The surrounding area also needs tourism potential support. Okay, if you want to build a hotel and a project related to tourism lah. And finally, we draft a preliminary layout plan. Okay, so this is where we make a rough plan for what we might build there, and then we think about how much we can build, what the land can be used for, and what is nearby. So this plan helps us imagine how the project will fit into the area before we start building. Okay, so why is a site visit important? Now, when we want to build something, the team cannot ask for more money or claim payment if they find problems with where they are building, right? That is why they need to check a few things first. This includes ground conditions. Okay, they need to know what the earth is like there. If it's too soft or wet, it can make building harder. Then is the haulage or transporting distance. Okay, this one is how far they need to move materials to the site. It can cost more money and take more time if it's far. Next is access to the site. Okay, they must see how easy it is to get to the construction site, because bringing in the big machines and materials, it can be tricky if they are difficult to reach. And then local labor. Okay, for this one, they need to check if there's enough people nearby who can work on the construction, because importing labor from outside, that can be costly and involves a lot more paperwork. This is same with the local suppliers. Okay, they need to find out if there are places close by where they can get their building materials and so on. And then the availability of services. Okay, things like water, electricity, and internet, it must be close enough to set up for the building. Otherwise, you will need a temporary supply, making it harder to kickstart the project. Okay, and lastly is the topography of the site. Okay, this is the shape and features of the land, whereby hills and valleys, okay, the shape of this landscape can affect how they plan the building. Okay, where to place the materials, build drainage, place the construction waste, and so on. Another example is that if the team is building a house and finds muddy land and a big hill where they plan to put the driveway, they cannot charge extra money for this. Okay, they should have checked it before agreeing to the project. This means that any additional charge should be included earlier when they submit the tender, not after being handed the contract. Okay, so this is the last part for this subtopic, factors governing feasibility study. Here we look at technical considerations that need to be considered when choosing the right location for a project. Okay, so some might look similar to the previous reason why a site visit is important, but this time it is in a different context for the feasibility study. I summarized them later on. Please go through the details from the available slides. Okay, so this is a summary lah. Firstly, ensuring our workers have proper accommodation is crucial in our construction projects, especially in remote areas where it is hard to find rental options. Otherwise, we might have to build temporary housing right on the site. The environment around the site is a big deal too. Okay, a place far from other houses is not likely good for building new homes, but whatever we build will change the area. So yeah, we sometimes need special studies to ensure that we do not cause problems with traffic, the environment, or the local community. And we also have to look out for the ground conditions, including flood risk. We can check records to see if the area has flooded before, and we need to ensure the drainage system can handle the rain. Well, basically you can spot a flood prone area by looking for signs like water loving plants, marks on trees or buildings that show water levels, or if locals have boats like sampans readying for floods and so on lah. And then having suppliers and subcontractors nearby can also save money. All right, so building will be easier and cheaper if we get materials, machines, and workers locally. And the way we get to the site also matters a lot. Okay, if there's already a road, that is perfect. Okay, if not, we might need to build a temporary one. So a good road is also a key for moving stuff in and out, saving time, and also for vehicle repair costs. And then service like water, power supply, and also phone coverage. Okay, they must be available or close by to cut costs. If they are not, we might have to set them up ourselves. And lastly, studying the soil at the proposed site is also needed to ensure it is right for building, and check the land's shape to plan how much excavation work we will need, such as cutting or filling. Okay, all of this helps us plan well and build smart. Okay, to conclude, site selection is initiated with a comprehensive feasibility study that assesses a site's potential to host a project from a physical or geographical standpoint and through economic viability and strategic fit. Okay, it is a detailed process weighing various factors, including the project's objective, business rationale, and technical requirements. So this phase demands a detailed evaluation of land value, financial projections, market trends, and also risk assessments. All this to ensure the selected site aligns with the project's financial goals and broader objectives, such as serving community needs or adhering to sustainability criteria. Okay, so that will be all for today's session. I will see you again. Thank you.